Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ. We will continue our discussion on economy. We are in the module industry. Okay, so we have covered 3 sessions already. In the first session, we have talked about industrial policy. So we have discussed about industrial policy resolution 1948. Then we have discussed about industrial policy statement 1956, which is known as Economic Constitution of India. We have discussed about industrial policy resolution 1977 and 80, and finally we have talked about new industrial policy 1991, and we have seen the impact and the features and significance of all these. Okay, and in the second session we have talked about the assessment of new industrial policy, where we have discussed about various components like how the industrial growth has increased and all those things. In the third session we have visited the problems of manufacturing sector or industrial sector, and then we have seen a solution for that also, and we have discussed about national manufacturing policy, where we have discussed about these things. Okay, so national manufacturing policy, when we have discussed, the most important point is to increase the share of manufacturing sector to 25% by 2022 and increase growth of 12 to 14% in the manufacturing sector in the medium term, and then to create 10 crore new employment opportunities in the manufacturing sector by 2022. That means 100 million employment generation. And skill development, then MSME. Then we have also talked about industrial clusters. Okay, so NMIZ, National Manufacturing Investment Zones, and it should be best infrastructure which has to be provided by the state government, like electricity, water supply and all those things, and master planning, external connectivity etc. will be provided by the center. Okay, so far 16 NIMZ we have discussed. Apart from DMIZ, in DMIZ region 8 are there. And apart from that, we have also talked about industrial corridors: DMIC, Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, CBIC, Chennai Bangalore Industrial Corridor. Okay, and then we have discussed about ease of doing business to be improved, and we have talked about eBiz, and we have also talked about Invest India, which is a non-for-profit company, and it's between GOI, Government of India, and FICCI, and it provides consultancy services to improve the foreign investment. Okay, so here in this session we are going to deal with Make in India. Okay, so if you have missed out any of my videos, you can get in touch with me here. This is my Instagram ID, and you can join the Telegram channel. Okay, so this is the Telegram channel, Zia Safir. You will get all my videos over there. You can also get connected to me in this Facebook ID, Zia IAS. Okay, so this is how you can get in touch with me. And today we will be starting with new session, that is Make in India. Okay, so we'll discuss about Make in India. It's a very short topic, small topic. I'll take 15 minutes and we'll wind it up. Okay, so it was initiated in 2014. It's actually an international marketing strategy to attract foreign direct investment on Singapore model. Okay, so international marketing strategy. Okay, to attract FDI on Singapore model. So we have already discussed about what is the Singapore model, what is FDI. So if you have missed out those videos, you can revisit this Telegram channel. You'll get all my videos over there. We have talked about foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, okay, PFI, FIIs, and all those concepts are already discussed. So I'm not discussing this concept here. So we'll directly move on to Make in India. Okay, so basically it seeks to make India a manufacturing hub of the world. Okay, so seeks to make India a manufacturing hub by enhancing competitiveness of manufacturing sector. Okay, so by enhancing competitiveness of manufacturing sector, so it basically facilitate investment, so and foster innovation, so promote investment, promote innovation, skill development. Okay, skill development, protect intellectual property rights. Okay, so and thereby building trust, intellectual property rights, build trust, and also build best in class infrastructure. build best in class infrastructure. Okay, and a Make in India portal to be created. Make in India portal to be created. Okay, it should be started to provide information about 25 thrust sectors. To provide information about 25 thrust sectors, national manufacturing policy, FDI policy, industrial corridors, etc. Manufacturing policy we have already discussed. Okay, so the main components of Make in India, if you see the different components, are like entrepreneurship. So all these are coming under this entrepreneurship, innovation, we have discussed about this already. Skill development we have also discussed when we discussed about national manufacturing policy also. Okay, labor reforms, so this I'll discuss here. Labor reforms, ease of doing business, that already we have discussed here. Ease of doing business, right? So here we have discussed that. In the previous session we have discussed that. So ease of doing business, FDI, industrial corridors, that also we have discussed in the first session. Okay, so industrial corridors, protecting IP, intellectual property, and thereby building trust. Okay, so these are the various components, major components of Make in India. See, ease of doing business, if you see, it is actually ease of doing business 2017 was a report which is actually published by World Bank. So this is also can be asked as a prelims question. Ease of doing business report is published by whom? It is actually published by the World Bank. And you know, the rank of India was 130 out of 190. And you know, around 10 indicators is actually used to publish this report. So if you see ease of doing business 2019, see 10 indicators are used. India's rank is this. Now in 2019 prelims, what was asked is the same question was asked, but normally they used to ask this report is published by whom? Then World Bank. But last year it was slightly difficult question. They have asked which among the following were not the indicator. Okay, which among the following was not one of the indicator which is used by World Bank for publishing ease of doing business report. So basically you need to know those 10 indicators. Okay, so you can refer that, and in fact from the options it would have been easily understood also. The correct option which was not part of it was law and order. Okay, so if you go to the question you will understand that by seeing that, even if you don't know, because it has nothing to do with you know, the ease of doing business, and also comparing to with other options which are given, this one is standing out. Okay, so law and order was actually not you know, one of the indicators, so that was the correct answer in that particular question. So this question was asked last year. Okay, so then labor reforms we'll discuss now. Labor reforms, so liberal hiring and firing policies. See, if you are not satisfied with an employee, but if you have a rigid labor norms, it will be very difficult to fire that person, right? So you need to continue with that inefficient employee. So that will affect the firm. Okay, so liberal labor laws should be there. So the rigid labor laws is actually affecting the industrial sector. Okay, so firstly, liberal hiring and firing policies. Then job related benefits, suitable working conditions, See, what is the major problem in India because of this rigid labor laws? Very less formalization in India. The formal sector contribution is actually very less in employment because of rigid labor laws. Firms don't want to formalize. If you go for formal, you know, setup, then this labor laws has to be followed properly. Strict and rigid labor laws. Okay. So what are the problems in India due to rigid labor laws? Firstly, it affects the ease of doing business, right? So it decreases ease of doing business. So all these points you can write in your essay, mains, answers, etc. That's why I'm writing it down. So it decreases ease of doing business. It decreases investment. Okay. and it also decrease job creation. So when investment is not there, decrease job creation. Okay, so investment is not there means it affect the growth, decrease growth, so it affect job creation, so that lead to poverty, and all these are issues. Then informalization of labor force. Just before I've told you, the firms want to keep informal employees. Okay, no, they don't want, that's the reason why you cannot see formal employment now in the private sector. Informalization of jobs, informalization of employment is a trend now because of this. If you are entering into the formal sector, then this labor laws are applicable to you, which is very rigid, and the company or the firm cannot do anything with you even if your performance is not good, even if you're not working properly. So it is very difficult for the firms. Okay, so for the firms it will be a burden, so they try to keep maximum employees, if not that important employees, or if you can replace those employees so faster and easily, they'll try to keep them informal. Okay, so that this labor laws will not be applicable. That is, if this rigid labor laws could be liberalized, if it is liberal labor laws, what is the advantage? More and more people will enter into formal jobs. Okay, so for that lead to formalization of employment. So informalization of labor force. So what is the opposite? If you go for liberal labor policies, labor laws, this will become formalization of labor force, because it's okay even if you are giving up incorporating in a formal sector, it's okay. Okay, in case inefficient employee, if he's not doing his job, whatever mistakes are committed, you can easily remove him. If that is the case, then no problem. So this is one of the rigid labor laws. Rigid labor laws is one of the most important reason for informalization of labor force. So informalization of labor force, you just keep this point in mind. You need to connect it with rigid labor laws. Okay. Then now here we will discuss about Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shramev Jayate Karyakram. So Deen Dayal, we are discussing labor reforms. Okay, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shramev Jayate Karyakram. See, when I'm pronouncing those Hindi words, I may not be pronouncing it correctly. I'm not from North, I'm from South, so I hope you can understand that. So Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shramev Jayate Karyakram. So first point under this is Shram Suvidha portal was established. Shram Suvidha portals were established. So basically under this, a labor identification number is assigned to firms. LIN, labor identification numbers are assigned to firms to enable them to comply with the 16 out of 44 labor laws. Okay, so labor identification number is assigned to firms to enable them to comply with 16 out of 44 labor laws online. Okay, so 16 out of 44 labor laws online. So LIN, labor identification number, Shram Suvidha portal was established. Second one, labor inspection report to be uploaded on the portal within 72 hours of inspection. Okay, so labor inspection report to be uploaded on the portal within 72 hours of the inspection. Okay, third point, random inspection scheme. Random inspection scheme. So firms for labor inspection to be selected randomly on the basis of risk-based criteria. So the firms for labor inspection to be selected randomly on the basis of what? Risk-based criteria. Okay, then UAN. Okay, UAN, unique account number, to be allotted to workers so that they can access their provident fund account. Workers, so that they can access their PF account, like PRAN number. Okay, so if you have a PRAN number, you can log into NPS account and you can access your NPS contribution and everything. Similarly here, unique identification, unique account number, so that workers can check their PF account. then Apprentice Protsahan Yojana, Apprentice Protsahan Yojana. So 50% of the stipend paid by selected firms, especially MSMEs, to apprentice in initial 2 years of training will be reimbursed by the government. Okay, so 50% of the stipends paid by selected firms, especially MSMEs, to the apprentice in initial 2 years of their training will be reimbursed by the government. Okay, so Apprentice Protsahan Yojana. Then Factories Act we have discussed in history, that you know already during Litton's time and Lippan's time we have discussed about Factories Act. So here I'll talk about Factories Act Amendment 2016. Factories Act or Factories Amendment Act 2016. So this act empowers center as well as state to regulate, employment related norms. So what are the employment related norms? Overtime wages, overtime hours, permitted overtime hours in which you can work, the working conditions, etc. Okay, so it actually has increased the overtime working hours from 52 to 100 hours in a quarter. Okay, so it actually increased overtime working hours from 52 to 100 hours in a quarter. So in a quarter, 100 hours overtime you can work. So Factories Amendment Act, it basically allow the center as well as state government to make rules or laws related to employment or working condition or overtime wages or overtime working hours, etc. So basically certain norms related to employment. Okay, so that's about Make in India. What you need to know is it is basically to promote what? It is an international marketing strategy to attract FDI on Singapore model. So it is basically to attract FDI. It is basically to promote manufacturing. So what is the most significant aspect here? It is basically to promote industry, or it is basically to promote manufacturing by promoting FDIs. Okay, so it was initiated in 2014. So it seeks to make India a manufacturing hub by enhancing competitiveness of the sector. Then the major components, Make in India portal is created to provide information about 25 thrust areas. Then you can see here the main components: entrepreneurship, innovation, skill development, labor reforms. All these are separately we have discussed. Entrepreneurship we have discussed before, innovation we have discussed before, innovation index we have discussed before. Okay, global innovation index we have discussed. So skill development I'll discuss in the next session. Then labor reform we have discussed here. Ease of doing business we have discussed in the previous session. FDI, FIA we have covered. Industrial corridors we have covered. Protecting IP, this I'll discuss in detail when we discuss about WTO. Okay, so now ease of doing business report we have discussed. So that question was asked last year, so have an idea about that. All these reports you need to know, who is publishing those reports you need to know, and it is very difficult to remember those indicators. Here they have asked about indicators, but in this case you could have identified easily even without knowing what is ease of doing business report, who is publishing, etc. But that may not be the case every time, so it is better to have an idea about who is publishing the report and what are the indicators. Okay, so labor reforms, we have discussed various labor reforms. So I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me here. This is my Instagram ID. Join the Telegram channel. Okay, so Zia Safir Telegram channel, or you can get in touch with me Zia IAS. Okay, so this is my Facebook ID. This is a Facebook page. So see you guys. Thank you.